Hello everyone, it's me Tish and welcome to my channel if you're new, and welcome back if you are not. Today we're going to be going over all of the anime that's coming out or is already out in January that I am excited for. For someone who has an anime list that is ever growing, January is actually really jam-packed with a lot of interesting new animes that I am looking forward to get into, as well as more seasons of previous animes that I have watched before. So that is what we are going to be talking about today. Now, when this video is going up, most of these animes that I'm talking about are already out, but there are like 2 or 3 that will be coming out tomorrow. So yeah, you can go ahead and watch any of these. If you have Crunchyroll, I'm not really sure where you can watch them outside of that, because that's usually where I watch all of mine, or sometimes I watch them on Netflix, and they do have a pretty good catalog on Hulu as well. But most of the time I am on Crunchyroll watching these. Again, due to that list that is ever growing for me, I'm not exactly sure when I will get to these, but just know that I am very excited for them. And maybe I can kind of sneak one new one in for every like 2 old ones that I need to get through. But we'll just see. We'll just see where my mood's at, and we'll see how it goes. If you do enjoy this video, be sure to like and subscribe to see more of my face and more of my content. The ones I want to talk about first are going to be the ones that are getting a continuation of the previous series that they've had. The one that I watched most recently is the Apothecary Diaries, and I hadn't really heard anything about this until it became an anime, and since then I've heard that the manga is just as good, so it is one of those series that I will definitely be picking up because I really enjoy the art style and have so far loved the first part. The second part is coming out, and I can't wait to see where it goes. For anyone who doesn't know, the Apothecary Diaries is about a young girl who worked in an apothecary with her father, so she knows all the stuff about poison and plants and all these cool remedies and things like that. One day she gets kidnapped and she is sold off to the palace, where now she is a servant, but eventually they find out about her fancy skills, and she ends up becoming a lady-in-waiting for one of the concubines serving in the palace. And from there, it just kind of ensues on all these different things that she has to help with her unique talents as an apothecary. Like I said, absolutely loved it so far. I've been watching it in the dub just because the main male character, Jinchi, he is the same, his voice actor is the same guy that does Gojo's dub, so I just wanted to hear his voice again, because if you watch Jujutsu Kaisen and you know, so I've been watching it with the dubbed, and it's super good. I watched the last couple of episodes in the sub because the dubs weren't out yet, and that is just as good as well. So if that sounds like it's something up your alley, I would 10/10 recommend. Next is going to be Blue Exorcist season 3. Now I am currently on season 2 of this, but I am still very excited to see where it goes. Absolutely love season 1, and I'm just really curious as to how pretty much all this is gonna play out. Exorcist is about a set of twins that are literally the spawns of the devil, except for one of the brothers named Rin. He ends up kind of inheriting the majority of the demon power, so everybody is like really afraid of him, and they're out to get him so that they can get rid of him because he, again, is the spawn of Satan. So it's kind of him using his devil powers for good, and he himself wants to be the one to defeat Satan, his literal father. As far as I can tell watching this, I have no idea why they don't consider his brother as bad, because they both are the sons of Satan, but I guess since he has the demon powers, he's the one to be more afraid of. But I'm definitely curious to see where their dynamic goes, because I'm just not a fan of his brother, whose name is Yukio, I believe. Not a fan of his brother, just because I feel like he should be treating his brother better, and definitely from a have a better understanding of all of this, and I don't know, I'm getting weird vibes from him, so curious to see how it goes in season 3. All right, and last of the ones that are just a continuation is going to be Classroom of the Elite season 3. I am done with both season 1 and season 2 of this and really enjoyed it. I didn't really know what I was getting into when I watched it. I just kind of had seen different little snippets of it on TikTok, and it seemed pretty interesting, and so I watched it, and I again thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a pleasant surprise. So if you haven't seen it, it is about a school with these students that are competing to kind of upgrade their class rank because they kind of want to be the best of the best. And our main character is a bit of a master manipulator, and he is trying to take his class to the very, very top, not because of the class, but for his own personal gain. And he meets another classmate in there who is kind of willing to do the same. And I'm just kind of curious to see where this all goes, because it's very obvious that he is he's using everyone, but he does it in such a way where they don't feel like they're being used, or they don't catch on that they are. And yeah, and there's a lot that goes on with his backstory that I'm eager to learn about as well, because it just doesn't seem like someone like him should be in a place like this, but we'll see. Starting off with the first new one is going to be Metallic Rouge. This is about a world where humans and androids kind of coexist together, and our main character, who is an android, is sent to Mars with her partner to find these kind of 9 kind of rogue rebels that kind of threaten to destroy everything that's going on between the humans and the androids, kind of destroy the peace. And I'm really excited to see this. It looks really, really interesting. From what I saw in the trailer, I really, really like the art style, and it's just gonna be another one of those kind of like action ones that I eat up, and I'm excited because the main lead is a female, and we always love to see that. It's gonna be Mr. Villain's Day Off, and now I just recently got volume 1 and volume 2 of this. I have not got into it, but it's supposed to be kind of like a cozy type of story where this villain just takes a day off and a bunch of different craziness ensues in a way that you feel like he can't just take a day off, like it's impossible for him to, even though he wants to really bad. And so I'm really excited that they're turning this into an anime, because just the idea of that, of this like super hardcore villain just trying to get a little peace and quiet to himself, but like he can't do that because he's a villain, is just kind of funny to me. So I'm excited to see how the anime plays out. All right, next up is going to be A Sign of Affection. I had heard this on kind of a recommendation video on TikTok. It's one of the mangas that I have been wanting to check out, and so I'm actually really excited that it is also becoming an anime. This is about 2 people, one a young girl who is deaf, and another is a boy who really has a love for languages, and they meet and he learns to sign with her, and it kind of just shows their little love story as they go about. It looks really cool. The trailer shows that they really paid attention to the manga details, because it looks so much like the art style in the manga, which I really appreciate. And it's definitely something that I haven't seen before in animation, and even as a manga style. And so I always love a good shoujo with little feels and these little cutesy romantic things, and I'm just really excited to watch this. All right, next up is going to be Bacchiguri. Now this kind of just seems like an action anime. From the synopsis, it says that our main character kind of gets into all these brawls after he meets up with an old classmate of his, and they all kind of just start fighting all of these like really powerful people, and then kind of like a demon type thing appears. And so it sounds like it's gonna be just like a whirlwind of different things. But I like the trailer. The art style, again, looks super cool. And it just looks like something that's gonna be like a good time, and probably doesn't have anything too hard to look into. So I'm just interested to see what that one is about. All right, next is going to be Solo Leveling. Now this is probably like my most anticipated anime that will come out this year. I have read the manhwa and I love it. Still got about 2 or 3 more volumes that I need to catch up on in order to be all the way completed to the series of all the books that are out so far. But I'm very excited. I have already watched the first episode, and everything looks exactly like the manhwa so far. So I'm very happy about that. The art style looks the same, and I'm just really excited to finally see this animated, because everything that goes on in the manhwa is so cool. The scenes are super cool, and I remember when I first started reading it how much I was like, man, I wish that this was already an anime, because I would love to see these different scenes on screen. And so yeah, super excited for more episodes to come out, and I'm even more curious to see how the dub is going to sound, because so far the Japanese sub has sounded really, really good, and I feel like the voices have matched the characters really well. All right, next we have The Demon Prince of Momochi House. Now this is about a young girl by the name of Momochi Himari, and on her 16th birthday she inherits a kind of house and estate that many people have said is haunted, and that there are ghosts and spirits and demons and things like that kind of wander the halls. And despite hearing all of this, she goes and decides to take it anyway, and upon getting there, she meets 3 other men who have been kind of illegally occupying the space, and they also try to warn her about all of these things to kind of deter her from staying there, but ultimately she decides, like, no, this was left to me, I want to be here, I want to stay here. And so she does, and while being there, she does start to realize that all of the rumors and things like that are true, and that it's kind of like a middle ground between the afterlife and the here and now. This sounds super interesting because it has all of the elements that I really enjoy. I like a good paranormal story, we love ghosts and spirits, and we just love this kind of creepy idea that there is kind of like a halfway point that you could actually experience between the afterlife and the here and now. So I'm really excited to get into that. All right, the next one is going to be The Witch and the Beast. And now this is about 2, like an unlikely pair that seems to be like they were both kind of cursed by the same witch. And they kind of stroll into town, the town that is being kind of controlled by this specific witch. And she has convinced all of the townspeople that she is kind of this savior, their hero, but our little duo know differently, and they've come to get their revenge, and they've come to set things right for themselves. So that just sounds like a really epic showdown waiting to happen, and I'm very, very curious because our main characters, one who is a young girl who's got like fangs, and she's kind of, you could clearly tell that things are not quite all there. She's not a regular young girl. And then our man, this guy who's got a coffin strapped to his back. So seeing that dynamic kind of roll in through a town would definitely have me questioning a lot of things, if not running the opposite direction. So definitely super curious to see what this is all about. All right, next we have Seventh Time Loop. The villainess enjoys a carefree life married to her worst enemy, and I'm just going to read you the synopsis for this really quickly. Rishi, the Duke's daughter, is no stranger to reincarnation. It's her 7th life after all. Each life restarts at her broken engagement. Having been a merchant, a maid, a knight, she now desires leisure. But her world changes when a prince who killed her in a past life proposes. To prevent war and live to a ripe old age, she begins her 7th life as the bride of an enemy nation's prince. That is wild. That is wild to continue a life with someone who's killed you in a past one. What? Definitely sounds super, super cool. This feels like it would be enemies to lovers, even though they're not technically like, that didn't happen in this life. Like, just the knowledge of knowing that feels like it's going to be kind of like an enemies to lovers thing, which I will eat up every time. So very, very, very excited for that. All right, last but not least is going to be Delusional Monthly Magazine. Now, this is another one of those that I haven't heard too much about. After kind of scrolling through the new animes that were coming out on Crunchyroll, this one caught my eye, just because it seemed like it was going to be kind of funny and just kind of, I guess, similar to like Slice of Life. But this is about a small publishing house that kind of prints a monthly magazine about kind of like these really absurd and outlandish things. And then at some point, the members of the staff meet up with a scientist. And I'm going to assume that when they meet up with him, they start kind of delving into his knowledge and then start printing stuff that he can tell them, or, you know, experiments that he has shown them. And it's gonna kind of turn the publishing house kind of upside down, if you will. And so I'm, again, curious to see what this really is about, and if it's gonna be a just kind of simple slice of life type of anime, or if we're gonna kind of get this more scientific thing where they kind of discover more things and it brings in more people, and kind of turns the little quiet town and this quiet publishing house into something that's more active, and kind of bringing in trouble that they didn't really anticipate. All right, and that is going to do it for all of the January animes that I am looking forward to. If you have watched any of these or are also looking forward to any of these, please let me know down in the comments below. If you have any other anime recommendations of any kind, please leave those down below as well, because I'm always looking for new stuff to watch, even though my list is long. Will I ever, you know, finish? Who knows? Who knows? But like I said, always open to hear about new anime, even new manga. So any of that good stuff, let your girl know. And I will catch you all in the next video. Bye.